Hello, nice to have you join us on the news at 5. I'm Dominic Iwiwa, and these are the stories and reports we're tracking at the moment. The Senate has received the 2026 statutory budget of the Federal Capital Territory Administration from President Bola Tinubu for consideration and approval. The letter conveying the budget proposal was read today on the floor of the Senate by the Senate President, Senator Godswill Akpabio, during plenary, following a 3-week recess for the budget defense exercise. In a separate correspondence, President Tinubu requested the Senate to confirm Mr. Taiwo Oyedele as a minister. The request was subsequently referred to the Committee of the Whole for further legislative consideration. The Senate President also read another letter from the President seeking confirmation of Mensara Ilo as the Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Anti-Doping Center. The nomination was referred to the Senate Committees on Narcotics and Drugs and Sports for joint screening. In addition, President Tinubu wrote requesting confirmation of Magnus Abe as chairman of the Niger Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission alongside 2 commissioner nominees. Another letter from the President sought confirmation of Mr. Francis Ifeanyi Asokwa as commissioner representing the Southeast in the Federal Commission. The nomination was referred to the Senate Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters for screening. The Senate also received requests by the President for the confirmation of 2 nominees as commissioners of the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission. The nominees are Amina Gamawa from Bauchi State and Abdullahi Mukhtar from Kaduna State. All nominations were referred to the relevant committees for further legislative action and screening. The Senate has formally announced the defection of Senator Ikpalibo Banigo, who represents Rivers West Senatorial District from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressives Congress. Her move strengthens the ruling party's presence in the upper chamber, raising the number of APC senators to 80. The development also increases the number of female lawmakers within the APC caucus in the Senate to 2. However, the traditional ceremony where a defecting lawmaker crosses from the minority to the majority wing was postponed as the Senate is currently observing a period of mourning following the passing of Senator Barinada Mpigi. Former Minister of State for Education and Imo State Coordinator of the Renewed Hope Ambassadors, Goodluck Opia, says President Bola Tinubu has recorded significant achievements in the first 2 years of his administration, which he believes justify a second term in office. Mr. Opia made the statement in Owerri, the Imo State capital, during the inauguration of the ward coordinators of the Renewed Hope Ambassadors in Owerri Municipal Local Government Area. Meanwhile, the former state APC chairman, MacDonald Ebere, assured the leadership of the Renewed Hope Ambassadors and President Tinubu that Owerri Municipal Local Government Area will strongly support and deliver victory for the president in the 2027 presidential election.
We don't expect you to lie. We don't expect you to speculate on anything because we have too many things to talk about. We have a lot that Mr. President has done that we should be talking about, and so we can't be lying over anything.
He has been doing wonderfully well in this country, but a lot of people do not understand. A lot of people do not even know. So we have a duty to go into the grassroots, to spread those good news. You have a responsibility to also explain to the people who are confused about the reform agenda of Mr. President. Mr. President's reform agenda has been widely misunderstood and misinterpreted in many quarters. So as Renewed Hope Ambassadors, you have a duty to explain, to interpret, and to correct those misinformation or those agendas.
I want to assure the Renewed Hope Ambassadors in Imo State that Owerri Municipal in general is APC, and APC is Owerri Municipal. The registration of the party registration that was just concluded, that just started again. The municipal registered over 35,000 APC members. to tell you people how ready we are and how we have come to be one family. And I can assure you, nobody will divide us.
Police authorities in Ondo State have confirmed the arrest of one Abdullahi Lawal, identified as a suspected kidnapper in Aderoju camp in Ugbe Akoko, in Akoko local government area of the state. Spokesperson of the Ondo State Police Command, DSP Abayomi Jimon, made the disclosure in a statement he issued and made available to journalists in Akure, the state's capital, on Tuesday. The police public relations officer, Ondo State Police Command, in a statement confirms the arrest of the suspected kidnapper, one Abdullahi Lawal of Aderoju Camp Ugbe Akoko town, who has been identified as the mastermind of kidnapping incidents involving one Aremu Tijani that occurred on August 18, 2025 at the victim's bush farm in Ikare Akoko Access. He notes that security operatives had engaged the kidnappers in a tactical operation which led to the neutralization of 3 members of the criminal gang, while 4 other suspects were arrested. However, the gang leader Abdullahi Lawal managed to escape from the scene at the time, despite sustaining gunshot injuries during the encounter with police operatives. He reveals that police detectives in Ikare Akoko swung into action and succeeded in arresting the suspect, noting that he has made confessions to the police. Staying with security matters, following ongoing investigation into the kidnapping and murder of His Royal Highness Eze Francis Igwe, the abducted traditional ruler of Ndufu Alike in Ikwo local government area, the police says it has arrested the mastermind of the incident. Eze Francis Igwe, the father of the immediate past Deputy Governor Kelechi Igwe, was on March 1, 2026 kidnapped on his way to church at Ndufo Alike. A press statement released on Tuesday by the police spokesperson SP Joshua Ukandu reveals that on March the 8th, 2026, operatives of the command arrested one of the suspects and alleged mastermind of the kidnapping and murder of the monarch, identified as Mwazoku Stephen, at his hideout in Ikwo local government area after sustained surveillance and intelligence-led operations. He notes that the suspect has since provided useful information and is currently assisting the command in the ongoing investigation. Ukando added that on the 7th of March 2026, one of the suspects led operatives of the command attached to the anti-kidnapping squad to his hideout. During the search of the location, officers recovered 1 SMG rifle, 1 pump-action rifle, 3 locally made Beretta pistols, 11 rounds of 9mm live ammunition, 10 live cartridges, a machete, a shovel, and assorted charms. The command assures the public that investigations are ongoing and all those connected to the crime will be apprehended and brought to justice. Suspected Larkorawa terrorists attacked and allegedly set ablaze a police station in Ilo town under Bagudu local government area of Kebbi State. According to local sources, the terrorists launched the attack in an attempt to free one of their members allegedly being detained at the police station. Reports indicated that the gunmen stormed the station late Sunday night, firing several gunshots before eventually setting the facility on fire. Sources said the attackers made away with an undisclosed quantity of ammunition from the station during the raid. It was also gathered that the assailants allegedly abducted a police officer who was on duty at the time of the attack. However, unconfirmed reports indicate that the terrorists succeeded in freeing the suspected bandits before setting the police station ablaze. Meanwhile, there were no immediate reports of casualties on either side following the attack, which reportedly went unchallenged as the officers were taken by surprise. The Kebbi State Police Public Relations Officer SP Bashir Usman did not respond to calls or text messages sent to his phone as of the time of filing the report. Now, over in Cross River State, Governor Basi Otu has reaffirmed his administration's commitment to building stronger collaboration with the military to enhance maritime and internal security in the state. Speaking at the state's executive chamber while receiving the commandant of the Amphibious Training School, Calabar, Brigadier General Matthias Ibawa Amatso, alongside senior officers of the institution. The governor assures the military of his administration's full support, noting that Cross River's maritime infrastructure is one of the most promising gateways for maritime commerce in Nigeria.
Every day, fishermen, traders and transport operators move across the waterways, carrying out different economic activity to support livelihood and boost local commerce. While maritime activities continue to grow, traders say improving safety along the waterways will help protect businesses and encourage more investment.
We need our government here to order the security agency to secure us to the normal border so that the Cameroon people will take us down there.
Now, efforts to improve maritime security have received renewed attention following assurances by the Cross River State government to deepen military collaboration, highlighting the strategic importance of the state's maritime infrastructure.
We've lost even some military hardware and things trying to actually secure those areas. And we know very well that such hardware is being in the hands of non-state operatives is not too good. So please, train as many as you can. If you need support from us in any way, we are there to give any support that you want. One of our priorities is to make sure that our state, like you mentioned, is the safest destination in Nigeria.
The commandant of the amphibious training school, Matthias Amaso, who paid him a courtesy visit alongside senior officers of the institution, also pledged to work closely with the state government.
No matter how committed we are, if the society is not cooperating with us or collaborating with us, it will be difficult for us to achieve the desired level of security that we want. But with collaboration, cooperation from other members of the society, paramilitary agencies and other security agencies, it makes it a lot easier for us to get the desired level of security that we aim at.
For the state government, strengthening such partnerships with security agencies and operators will remain key to protecting lives, businesses and investments across the maritime corridor.
The Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Sunday Aneke, is urging the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to strengthen collaboration with the military to address logistic challenges in Nigeria's elections. The Air Chief gave the advice at a meeting with the INEC chairman in Abuja. The Air Chief urges INEC to leverage the military to improve logistics, security and planning to deliver effective election management. Air Marshal Aneke also visited the management of the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, where he is asking for a partnership and infrastructure developments to improve the capacity building of airmen.
The Chief of the Air Staff leads the management team of the Niger Air Staff to this meeting with the Independent National Electoral Commission as part of efforts to strengthen collaborations, especially in election management.
Honorable Chairman,
the Air Chief believes the nation's electoral process can be improved through collaboration with the military.
The Nigerian Air Force considers this partnership with the Commission as an important contribution to safeguarding the integrity of Nigeria's democratic process. This engagement therefore provides an opportunity to further deepen the existing collaboration between the Commission and the Nigerian Air Force. The successful conduct of elections is closely tied to effective security arrangements and efficient logistics management. I wish to assure you, which is why I'm here with my team, that the Nigerian Air Force remains willing, able and ready to continue providing such support wherever required.
In his response, the INEC chairman underscores the importance of strengthening the existing relationships with the military.
We value the expertise and dedication of the Air Force in logistic and security operations, which are paramount to our electoral system's integrity. I urge you, therefore, to please continue to support us as we embark on this very crucial phase of our democratic journey.
The next stop for the management team of the Air Force is the headquarters of the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, where he is requesting for partnership and infrastructure development.
The support received from TED Fund has significantly enhanced the Institute's ability to deliver on its mandate as the Nigerian Air Force premier technical training institution and to contribute to meaningful national development. The purpose of my visit today is simple and straightforward. It is to explore ways to further strengthen this partnership so that the Nigerian Air Force can continue to expand its support to the nation beyond the aerospace and defense sectors by contributing more significantly to the health sector.
The Executive Secretary of the Fund gives an immediate approval for the request.
AFIT is a direct beneficiary of that fund, and I'm pleased to report to you, the Air Chief, that even before your request, some of the issues are featuring this year's intervention for AFIT, including staff accommodation and medical fencing. We commence this year, we'll do it in batches. It's a very large, expansive.
The Air Chief is hoping that these visits will strengthen the Air Force in the discharge of its mandate.
You're watching the news at 5 on Channels Television. Right after this break, we'll bring you more stories making the rounds at the moment. Stay with us. Welcome back. The coalition of Niger Delta ethnic nationalities is throwing its weight behind the ongoing probe by the National Assembly over issues surrounding pipeline protection contracts and crude oil theft. Addressing a news conference in Abuja, the president of Ijaw Youth Council Worldwide and spokesperson of the coalition, Mr. Alaye Theophilus, says there is a need for the federal government to urgently decentralize pipeline protection contracts through fair allocation among stakeholders in each Niger Delta state in order to strengthen security, increase oil production, and to sustain lasting peace in the region. The coalition insists that credible stakeholders from host communities are in a better position to protect pipelines passing through their communities.
The coalition strongly supports the ongoing probe by the National Assembly into issues surrounding the pipeline protection contract and crude oil theft. We urge the leadership of the National Assembly under Godswill Akpabio to ensure that this investigation is conducted with transparency, courage, and fairness so as to redeem the integrity of the legislative institution. We also caution the chairman and the members of the investigation committee to be vigilant against individuals and interests who have historically used the dangerous strategy of divide and rule to weaken the unity of the Niger Delta for their selfish and economic political gain. The Niger Delta ethnic nationality will no longer accept a system where opportunities that should benefit the entire region are consigned by a few individuals. The time has come for equity, fairness, and genuine leaders' participation in the protection of our national assets. The coalition of the Niger Delta ethnic nationality remain committed to peace, stability, and the protection of Nigeria oil and gas infrastructure. However, peace must never be mistaken for silence in the face of injustice.
And on business news, a coalition of Africa's leading mobile network operators plans to launch a 56,000 naira smartphone in 6 African markets, including Nigeria, in a major effort to boost digital access and connect millions of more people to the internet. The initiative, led by the GSMA Handset Affordability Coalition, was announced during a press briefing at the African Pavilion at the Mobile World Congress in Barcelona, Spain. The coalition includes several of Africa's largest telecom operators, such as Airtel Africa, Axian Telecom, Ethio Telecom, Orange SA, Vodacom Group, and MTN Group. As the trading month of March enters week 2, oil markets have remained volatile so far, and oil-related stocks have rallied following the surge in oil prices. In Nigeria's stock market, the NGX, oil-related stocks have gained in the recent trading sessions, with investors taking position. According to Ugodre Obichukwu, founder and CEO of NUPRC, investors need to be careful as volatility in the oil markets continues. He was a guest on Business Morning earlier today.
To the oil and gas stock, yes, this kind of reflects what you see in most markets, where share prices tends to go up for companies or organizations that are listed that geopolitical events may favor, even if those geopolitical events portend some kind of risk. Now, but what you don't really see, Ladi, is a 10% gain every day. So you tend to see 2%, 3%, 3.5% in most markets outside Nigeria. But we're seeing a 10% gain without necessarily any fundamentals that is backing it up. Now, remember what I said. Yes, oil prices going up does affect downstream companies, and most of these companies are downstream, apart from few that are integrated energy companies. Their share prices may also reflect some of the expectations that they might have revenue bumps due to crude oil price shocks or increases that we're seeing. But as a discerning investor, you have to be very careful, because this might just be a bull trap, and I suspect that is probably what we're dancing with at the moment, Larry.
South Africa's economy recorded modest growth in the final quarter of 2025. Data released by Statistics South Africa shows that the country's gross domestic product expanded by 0.4% in the fourth quarter, slightly higher than 0.3% growth recorded in the previous quarter. Our South Africa correspondent Innocent Simosa now takes a closer look at how key sectors of the economy, including mining, manufacturing and agriculture, performed in the final quarter of the year.
Statistician General Risenga Maluleke says the expansion was largely driven by gains in the finance, real estate and business services sector, as well as trade, catering and accommodation, while personal services, government services and agriculture also posted modest increases.
Our economy expanded by 0.4% as of quarter 4 2025. And indeed, year on year, it went to 0.8%. And for the year 2025, our economy grew by 1.1%.
However, the manufacturing sector contracted, dragged down by decline in divisions such as motor vehicles and transport equipment, wood, paper products, and food and beverages.
We can see that industries such as mining, manufacturing, utilities, and construction, as well as finance and business services, have actually gone in the negative.
The question is, do the latest figures suggest South Africa is gaining economic momentum heading into 2026?
It is indeed resilient, because it has been showing a growth under difficult conditions through which it trudges. It has been showing positive growth coming out of the fourth quarter of 2024. Not much, 0.4% there, 0.3% there, and indeed, in the last quarter of 2025, we have seen a 0.4%, which was largely driven from your finance as well as areas like your trade and others. Finance contributed 0.3 of a percentage point to what we have seen as an ultimate final growth.
While growth remains modest, the latest GDP figures offers a glimpse into how different sectors are shaping South Africa's economic outlook as the country heads into 2026. From Pretoria, South Africa, Innocent Simosa, Channels Television News.
Staying in South Africa, the country plans to launch its first credit guarantee fund to boost infrastructure investment and attract more private capital into major national projects. The facility, expected to have about 10 billion rand in initial capital, will help reduce risk for lenders and investors financing infrastructure developments across the country. Officials say the program will initially support expansion of the electricity transmission grid, a key step towards easing power constraints and unlocking new energy projects. The government hopes the initiative will mobilize billions of dollars in long-term investment for infrastructure. And that's it on the news at 5 on Channels Television. I'm Dominic Iwiwo. Up next is The World Today. Enjoy the rest of your day.